Let's talk a little bit about Luigi Mangione, the man suspected of murdering the United Healthcare CEO. What a background. In 2016, he became the valedictorian of his prep school, $40,000 a year prep school, called Gilman School in Baltimore. And in his speech, he said, "The world needs thinkers, leaders, and doers. Let's be all three," and got a standing ovation. 10 years later, he's a suspect in a high-profile murder. He was arrested while eating at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, was found with a 3-page manifesto, a ghost gun, a homemade firearm, and a silencer. Had a passport, fake ID, and he had a mask on him, which appeared to be the one used by the suspect. He was also wearing clothing that appeared to match the suspect. Grew up in Maryland, came from a very prominent family whose businesses included owning a country club, nursing homes, owning a conservative radio station, has a cousin who's an elected member of the Maryland House of Delegates. His family's business interests, as well as his charity work, made it a well-known name in Baltimore, according to the New York Times. Mangione was a high-achieving mathematical talent. After becoming valedictorian, he went on to study computer science at Penn. A friend at the school described him as being supernormal and a smart person. Graduated in 2020 with a Master's of Science in Engineering, majoring in Computer and Information Science. Stanford University said someone by that same name was employed as a head counselor under their pre-collegiate studies program between May and September of 2019. He went on to work as a data engineer for TrueCar in California, later in Honolulu, Hawaii. His online persona shows him posing shirtless on a beach, hanging out with friends and family, kicking back in sunglasses, smiling. But also his online activity painted a deeper, darker picture. He was sympathetic towards Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, whom he described as a mathematical prodigy. Luigi Mangione's review of the Unabomber's manifesto, Mangione said, "It's easy to quickly and thoughtlessly write this off as a manifesto of a lunatic." Mangione, in order to avoid facing some of the uncomfortable problems it identifies. But it's simply impossible to ignore how prescient many of his predictions about modern society turned out. Mangione went on to share this online opinion. Quote, "When all other forms of communication fail, violence is necessary to survive. You may not like his methods, but to see things from his perspective, it is not terrorism, it's war and revolution." Close quote. That doesn't sound good. He went on to criticize fossil fuel companies, saying, quote, "They have zero qualms about burning down the planet for a buck. So why should we have any qualms about burning them down to survive? We're animals just like everything else on the planet," he wrote, "except we've forgotten the law of the jungle and bend over for our overlords when any other animal would recognize the threat and fight to the death for their survival. Violence never solved anything is a statement uttered by cowards and predators." Close quote. Again, that doesn't sound good. He also made a number of comments and observations about the state of society and its mental health. In one post on Twitter, he shared an analysis of the declining birth rate in Japan, criticizing sex toys, which he described as, quote, "custom porn star pocket blank," and maid cafes where lonely salarymen pay young girls to dress as anime characters and perform anime dances for them, end of quote. He criticized artificial intelligence. He wrote commentaries against diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, said smartphones harm children, and talked about the damage done by commercial agriculture. New York Times reports that he inexplicably stopped communicating with friends and families about 6 months ago. Supposedly, he'd been suffering from a severe back pain injury. He posted online an x-ray image of what appears to be screws and plates inserted in someone's lower back, might be his own back, and apparently had a grievance with the healthcare industry, which is supposedly might have animated Mangione's murder of this United Healthcare CEO. But a life of privilege, had all sorts of advantages, and just completely, apparently, flipped out. Thanks for watching these clips from The Larry Elder Show. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment. More thought-provoking discussions are just a click away, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.